Hi everyone, and welcome to another exciting, invigorating, give me another word, off the hook show. Right here, yes, wonderful show and season of She. I'm so excited about this season because we'll be speaking all about pregnancy and motherhood, and it means so much to me because I am walking that journey. I hope it's visible. And so I'll be going through that journey and speaking to amazing guests, mothers who've walked this journey before us, mothers about to walk this journey, experts, etc. It's just going to be so amazing. We've put in so much work, so you better call all your friends, chama, buddies, the whole world. Make sure they're, just clocked in for this season. And today on the show, we have two gentlemen. I know you're like, okay, Faith, you just said pregnancy and motherhood. Where does she, fit in with this gentleman? But it's because this journey is not possible without the fathers who father these children, right? And that's why I felt it would be so important to just have fathers on the show to tell us, what do men go through? Research says, fathers put on weight when the mothers are expecting. You guys will tell us. They say when you guys go through hormonal things, you can't stand onion smells. So we'll find out all that today and more. Let me just stop right there and ask this gentleman to introduce themselves so we get to know them a little bit. So we start with you. Just tell us about you.
All right. My name is Samuel Toro. In this era of people identifying themselves, I identify as saved. My pronouns are God saves.
That's funny.
Anyway, I do full-time ministry at a church called Nairobi Lighthouse Church. I'm the dean of the School of Leaders. We call it Inside School of Leaders.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I'm a father of three, one girl, Eliana, two boys, Zain and Jaden. Married to one wife in Shags. When I come to Nairobi, I come with her. Yeah, I think that's about it.
My heart skipped a bit. I'm like, she's in Shags.
Yeah, she's the same one. In Shags, we're with her. We come to Nairobi, where we come together.
If she's watching you, and she must be like, I'm in Shags. Yeah. But thank you. Thank you for introducing yourself.
Great. I'm James, James Mbuga. I'm a sports consultant.
Wow.
I run a company called Stealth Mac Africa, which is a sports marketing company. And I'm also the founder of Kenya's Strongest Man competition.
Wow.
I'm born again. I love Jesus. And married to one wife, beautiful wife Viola. I'm blessed with 3 kids. My firstborn son, 8-year-old Alpha, and then I have 6-year-old Elsa, and our youngest Ethan, 3 years, turning 4 in a bit.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to introduce mine because, they'll be at home and they'll be like, gosh, Faith. So even me, I'm married to one husband. His name is Kelvin. I have 3 boys, Christian, Emmanuel, and Jonathan.
Great.
And I guess because we're talking about babies, it's okay to, talk about them. And I just want us to go through this journey of motherhood, and I guess through fatherhood, because that's why you're here. And, when you're introducing yourself, I'm hearing you say strongest man. I'm like, Maze, men, come in with
macho.
that. Yeah, macho-ness, And then you tell them, Bana, change a diaper. They're like, like, how do I even maneuver that, And I just want us to talk about that because I think it's something that especially new dads have to go through. But let's start at the start. You're there, you're married to this person. I know it's a journey you've gone through. Tell us about trying to conceive, and so many times we focus so much on what the mother is going through, And I remember when I had a miscarriage, like even when people come to visit, they'll focus more on me, how are you feeling and things like that. Nobody's asking my husband, how are you, because he's lost a child as well. True. And so how was that journey, just trying to get to the point where you end up conceiving? How was that for you as the dad?
All right, let me start with, we had been told that we can't conceive. All right. So that was one, let me call them a conventional doctor, told us, hey, you guys, if you need to conceive, you need an emergency surgery.
Wow.
The economy was not that bad, but our pockets were not that good either. So we couldn't do a surgery. So we did what every sane Kenyan does. We did a second opinion. So we go for a second opinion. And they tell us, hey, by the way, there's something that doctor missed. So the report gets worse. So we decide, let's go to these other alternative medicine doctors.
Yes.
So we go to this doctor and he tells us, hey, right in front of my wife, tell us, hey, if you want to have children, you look for another wife.
Whoa.
In my mind, I was like, Jesus, please step out and take Kanima with you.
I deal with this
Let me
guy.
minister to this guy, you know. Let me lay
Like
hands.
a strong man.
Yeah, let me lay hands without praying.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh,
And it was
I'm
very
sorry.
disheartening. Yeah,
Yeah.
It was disheartening. I remember the trip from that hospital to home was crazy. I kept telling Anima, I didn't marry you for children. I married you for companionship.
Yeah.
But at the back of my mind, I'm like, but she really wants to have children, you know. Fast forward, we just kept trying. We didn't get kids. So she was told to do a scan, and we lost the paper where they had written the scan. Those days they had to be written down.
Yeah.
So we lost it, and in Westland, she met this doctor, a gyna. For the first time, she was like, I lost this paper that I'd been told to do my scan with. So the doctor told her, I won't charge you, but under one condition, when you do the scan, please bring the results I see. So we were like, okay. Then Anima tells me, I think I found another gyna. I'm like, is it a man or a woman? A man. I'm like, there were no gyna women.
It's so funny how dads always have an issue with that.
Male guy.
Like,
We need to have a full show and discuss that.
So the doc said there's some truth in what they're saying, but we've not exhausted all these options. But me, I kept telling God, me, I'm believing you. I believe that you're going to have kids. So to cut a long story short, he had told us, we need to do these meds at this time. We didn't have money to buy the meds at that time, so we skipped that month. So the next month he told us, you guys are a bit too late, so we had to skip that month also.
Oh, wow.
And then we waited for the other month, and the other month, then he told us, I think you guys should just do a pregnancy test. And they're like, you remember you've not intervened? He said, you just go do a pregnancy test. So we did these cheap ones for 100 bob, and it came positive. So we went and told the doctor, is there another one that can actually... This one for 100 bob.
Second opinion.
It kind of feels, a second opinion. It kind of feels like a Chinese, you know. So he told us we can do a blood test, but that is as true as it gets.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's funny that you mentioned a miscarriage. Now, this was a miracle because without any medical intervention, they got pregnant. But now we lost that pregnancy. And I was asking God, Allah, when you give us miracles, and then but that was our journey. So right now we have 3 kids, like I've said, without any medical intervention.
Oh, wow. Thank you for sharing that so
God is
authentically.
great.
I know. And it's interesting to hear the story from a man's point of view. And I'm just curious, if we jump now to that difficulty, to know the point where you've conceived, I keep saying I'm sort of lucky that I tend to have easier pregnancies, really. Like I won't throw up and things like that. But for this 4th pregnancy, I cannot for the life of me stand my husband's cologne. Like literally, I will have a sneer. I know I'm not those people who naturally have sneers, but you don't want to see my sneer when I smell that cologne, and I just can't stand it. And then maybe because I'm older as well, with this round, I just want to hibernate. Like I relate so much with a bear, like how bears, like when it's that season, is it winter? And they just, like, I wish I could just eat enough, then just cover myself and sleep, wake up 9 months. That's how I feel half the time, and sometimes it can be frustrating. Your husband wants to have a conversation, etc., and you're like, my friend, I just want to sleep. That's all I want to do. I don't want to do anything. And yet there are 3 other kids to raise. And I'm just curious, what have, from your man's point of view, your wife is pregnant, what have you seen? And how have you handled that? Oh, I didn't mention the hormones, and the mood swings that come with it. So how has that been for you guys, just dealing with these pregnant wives? 3 rounds.
Whoa. It's interesting you mentioned colognes. I'm actually wondering, what did this designer perfume guys do to pregnant women?
I know, right?
You don't. It's kind of, pregnancy doesn't love expensive colognes.
I know, right? Maybe we need to innovate colognes for when wives are pregnant.
Exactly. So for me, actually, my wife also had an issue with my cologne, especially during our first pregnancy. It was so bad that I had to put my cologne right next to the door. So I'd only spray on my way out.
On your way out.
Yeah. And I was like, man, you also hate the smell of onions, and you put onions and my cologne. Now they're in the same WhatsApp group. Like it was quite hard. Like cologne and onions. I'm like, hey, yeah. So there was that, but just getting to understand and allowing her to tell me, like, to feel that she can express what she's feeling to me freely, made it a bit more bearable. Trying to put myself in her shoes and just understanding that it's not really her. It's not like aliamka tu and she decided, I want to make your life very difficult, utajuta with that. Yeah, so it had to come with a bit of adjustment, like just trying to see how do I make it easier for her, because already it's tough. She had a lot of morning sickness in the first pregnancy.
Throwing up.
Throwing up.
Okay.
We do breakfast like just in the middle abruptly. She's off, and I mean she lost a lot of weight. So just realizing, okay, she's already bearing such a burden. I can't make a big fuss again about my onion perfume. Like, you have to make it a bit easier for her. So yeah, that's how I kind of took it, just took it positively, and understanding that it's not really the person. It's not like she's doing it intentionally. So just making the little adjustments here and there.
No, and I like that you're also saying that she was able to voice it, because I guess sometimes as women, we assume you'll just know. I think it's so important to just be able to say that, this is what's happening, this is how I'm feeling. So then it makes it easier for you as well. I think that's a good lesson for us to learn. Was it frustrating for you? Was it difficult for you seeing her throwing up all these times, and you're like, gosh, she can't keep anything down, she's losing weight? Like, how did that make you feel as the husband?
For me, the weight part was quite something, because my wife already, she's not the big size. So I mean, she was, I think, less than 60 kgs when we were getting married. And now I'm saying I'm talking about her losing weight.
More weight,
So she actually looked like someone who was ailing. And on the other hand, I'm blessed, like my appetite, like nothing easily comes between me and my...
Are you feeding this wife?
So there I am, Maze, gaining weight as a new husband, and my wife is there, Maze, shrinking. So going with her to social places, like it was obvious. And even for the people who got to know that we were expecting, the very first lot of guys to know, it's because they were concerned about her health. So like, hey, are you okay? Like, what's going on? And then now we had to say, okay, yes, we are fine, but we are blessed actually, but so there was that pressure of just feeling for her health, how she looked out there, like how she was feeling about herself. So as a man, that was also heavy for me.
And I guess just building her esteem, and maybe as you give your thoughts, there's I think it would be great for women watching to get to hear from a man's point of view, just, the changes that women go through and what that is for a man. Because I think so many times women just assume, gosh, for this 9 months, I just look bad, or things like that. So it would be nice to hear from a man's point of view what goes through your mind at that time, even as you share your experience as well.
I think we are among the few blessed ones, because Anima never experienced morning sickness. She didn't. Quite on the contrary, my kids until today, I tell them, when you put food in the table, it's not a challenge to finish all the food. We can have some leftovers. During pregnancy, it was the same. She would eat, I got to a point where when you go to bed, I would prepare a small snack and put it by the bedside, because again, I don't want you to wake up and check something. So for us, I think the appearance was what was a big issue, because by the time we were getting to 3 months, guys were like, oh, you're due. You're like, we are just done with the first trimester.
Can you imagine that 3 months? You have like 7 months to go.
You have like 7 more months to go, and you're like, and everyone thinks we are due, I remember it was actually a prayer request that her nose doesn't become big, because now everyone was telling me, when you get big, when you get pregnant, you're breathing for 2, so we need to enlarge the territories. I don't know. That's a story out there,
Is my nose big?
No. Kelvin, she's doing good. She's being fine. So for us, what was a hard thing was, for some reason, her joints would lock, and it would be so painful. I thank God for my father, because he shipped me to boarding school when I was in class 6. So I discovered that I'm independent from when I was young. And then I went with my younger bro, so I was a father as well to my younger bro. So the house chores automatically became my
Yours.
chores. You know? And there's this period called nesting for the ladies, where everything has to be pristine, like pristine.
But then I don't know what it is. You just find like there's dirt everywhere.
you know.
Even for me, who's not like such a clean freak, I'll just walk around and I just see dust everywhere. You just rewash everything. So I feel you.
So for us, our biggest, for me, let me say, from my point of view, was just to find out how do I support Anima in his journey. Because again, you said men, we add weight. The only disadvantage is you guys in one day, you shed off like 10 kilos. As we have, we have all
a lifetime to deal with it.
Like I'm still dealing with my first pregnancy. You know?
That's funny.
But for us, that was the major thing. I think what came out of, especially with Eliana, our first pregnancy, is the love languages are not set on stone. Because Anima's love language changed to service, because now she's a little bit incapacitated. So it's not hard written on stone that you said your love language is we sit down here and we talk. And now you're telling me to make for you tea. No, you know, just move with the seasons.
Oh, I love that. And you know, I think it's such, do I call it growing up for both people during the pregnancy season, because like you're saying, if now your joints have locked, you can't do anything, you know, or do much, and you know, the spouse has to come in and just cover up and things like that. Calls for such maturity, you know. And I'm glad you're saying this so that fathers who are watching this, you know, can just be encouraged that it's just for a season, and it's okay to take up those house chores. Like don't feel like you're missing out on something, or you know, like your pals will laugh. Please take them up.
Sometimes it's daunting because you're out there hanging clothes with your neighbor's house guy, you know? And you're like, good morning, and you're like, hey, okay.
They're almost adding you to the chama, the WhatsApp group. This is how we roll. This is how we do.
I can imagine, but I guess it's for a bigger, greater cause, right?
If I don't make my wife happy, who do I expect to make her happy?
Wow.
Who?
Wow.
She's a mother to my children. If I don't step up, who do I expect to come and step up?
Who is going to do it? I like that.
So if it is hanging clothes, I will hang them. Let's hang them. And I'll say hi to all the house helps there. How are you? How are you? You know?
I love it. And I just want to discuss you know, just planning for the baby. You know, there's the nesting part where, you know, you just want everything cleaned up. But I personally go through the season where I just want to buy baby things. You know, you know, but buying is one thing, but there's where the money is coming from. And I just want to hear from you both. You know, just this whole season, you know, is heavy on men. You know, I've had men say how they're anxious and, you know, their stomach is in knots the entire 9 months because you're thinking, oh my gosh, you know, here is a human being coming, and kids nowadays, you know, there's diapers and, you know, my third born is about to turn 4. And in just those 4 years, like the market has changed. Now there's even something called wet wipe warmers. I'm like, you know, before we just take the wet wipes at night, you warm them like this and wipe the baby. And now there's a wet wipe warmer, you know, and so in your mind, I know. So you're like, things are changing, and here comes your wife, she's like, I want a wet wipe warmer. I want to use these specific diapers and things like that. And you're also thinking this is an extra plate to feed, you know, and all that. What goes through a man's mind, you know, a father-to-be's mind, when you're thinking about the financial aspect that comes with, you know, just being pregnant and all that?
It's such a reality, like dealing with the financial considerations. Like for us, before we even conceived our first son, like just we talk about it with my wife, like, are we ready? Do we want to try now? Do we trust God now? But often it will be me thinking, as in, not yet. Like when I do the math, just thinking, okay, we need to figure out the maternity care, the hospital bills, and then everything. And my wife is also a detailed person. So when she gave me the list of the things that need to be put in place, excuse me, before the baby comes, man, you're like, hey.
That Excel sheet is like...
like the way Excel sheets never end, but you feel like it has page 2. So just doing all that calculation, but eventually realizing that, okay, this is a good thing.
Yeah.
And even just the foundation of our family, we've always believed that God is the one who brought us together. And when he blesses us with kids, he's the same God who will make provision. So there was that assurance eventually that came, but did not eliminate the reality of dealing with the pressure, the months, and just doing and now even with subsequent babies, getting now to think about school, education has become such a costly thing, and so it's a reality we're having to carry with us. But just to anchor yourself in the truth that God is the one who has set and orchestrated this to be, and is able to make a way and provide for where he leads. So as the kids come, we've seen God opening doors. And there are times you think you figured it out, like you've really planned yourself, and then something happens toward the very coming of the baby, and you realize, okay, now God come through. So we are like, better start with God come through from the very beginning, because eventually that's where we end up. So
it's true.
That's how.
And I like that, because it's so true how life works, right? You know, that you think you've planned it all, then things just change. You know, look at like COVID, you know, and how it just came and disrupted so many lives. So you'd rather, like you're saying, just start with God from the start and just be like, you know, yes, we might have X amount of money, but still come through for us. I love that. Thank you for sharing that.
For me, I think the Excel sheet was a reality check. You know, you're just scrolling, you're like, at some point you stop reading and you just scroll all the way to the bottom to see, and then you're like, 200 items. Okay, then you start going back up. What can we X out? What can we X out? You know? But I think what helped the journey a bit is, one, we are believers. And I normally say, I'm the last born of God. He's spoiled me. When it comes to miracles, like our children are all miracle children. So I'll go back to him, I'm like, you cannot give me a child and then you abandon me. Like, hey. So one of the things we prayed, you know, these things called baby showers, those things are a lifesaver, you know. But for me, where I almost fainted is when, you know, now you have to go, when you're about to you have to now decide, this is a hospital you're going to. And also the checks, you know, the guy will tell you, everything is fine, but come back next week. You're like, can we come back like after 2 months? If everything is fine and you're confident, see
or at week 39.
Let's do this.
Let's push this. Let's minimize it. Until now, we started hospital hunting, and then, you know, it got to a point where we got to know that it had to be a CS. But of course, as Christians, we prayed, it's not going to happen. So I'm telling you, when we went hospital hunting, I'm like, okay, just to deliver a baby. You know, you start getting the reality of, we should go look for a manger somewhere. But I think for me,
that manger is it's real. I feel you.
I think even for Joseph, I think he's the one who named that night silent night, because it was silent. Everyone is silent. Like,
you must have knocked all these places and like, the manger ain't too bad.
But for me, that was a reality check, and I remember telling God, hey, you have to show up, and not only show up, show off. Just show up and show off. But I remember telling God at some point, you know, we've walked all this journey with you. There is no way you're going to abandon us. There is just no way. So for me, my reality check came in when we went hospital hunting. And you're told it's going to be a CS, you're like, okay. Jesus come through. Jesus come through.
Wow. And you know, I remember when I was expecting the first child, you know, just being so overwhelmed, and this couple sitting us down and saying, if you think about the reality of things, what a child really needs is what? Just milk, right? They're like, you can even put a shirt, pick one of your shirts, put as the diaper, pick a sweater, cover them. And you know, and they were like, when they started out, it was so tough for them. And they were explaining how they'd wash the child in the sink the kitchen sink.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing it's even slowly becoming popular again. So that means you don't even need to do a basin and things like that. Just make sure the water is warm or whatever.
Yeah.
And they were like, they just had a few clothes. You valisha today, the kids' clothes don't get dirty. You wash quickly, they dry and etc. And I think sometimes, just how things are set up, the people end up making it like such an expensive affair.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you're just like, oh my gosh, this 200 Excel list, I think sometimes it's also okay to minimize. And I don't know how that has been for you, just trying to figure out how do you, just have the basics. Does that make sense for you? And has it worked for you? That it doesn't have to, you don't have to have a wet wipe warmer. You could place it on your tummy, it warms, and you wipe the baby.
You wipe the baby, Get creative.
Okay, I think for me, we normally say our firstborn was the most spoiled of our children. By the time the secondborn was coming, we knew. By the way, there is a way you can warm water and have a cotton wool.
And it works.
And it works.
Wet wipes are just for when we are leaving the house. I remember those first days we would buy pureed apples and all. So after that we'd go, those days it was Nakumat. After that we'd go to Nakumat and we were like, we used to buy this thing. We used to buy this. And we were spoiled. But by the time the secondborn was checking in, we knew.
You're so mad.
We knew. Did Eliana die? No, you won't die. You won't die. Did Zen die? No. I think Jaden is by far the one who's had the hard life. There is no soft life for him, But I think again it comes with wisdom. When you're a first-time parent, you want to be, I'm going to provide all this.
Everything for my child.
For my child, And I think what spoiled the whole thing is, the way you save clothes for Sunday, and then you go and dress them up and you're like, these clothes have checked out.
Yes.
They cannot fit in these clothes. So for us, it was Sunday every day. This is a beautiful dress, you're wearing it. Are you going, you're wearing it. You're not going anywhere, you're wearing it.
Sunday best for it.
By the time it gets to Sunday, it won't be fitting.
By the time you were getting to Zayn, you'd look at the purine in here and you're like, it's just apples that were blended. Go buy apples. After all, you're like, hey, one apple is 20 bob. Mukona pumpkin. Let's
The nutrients are the same.
I think with time, and again, I think for a first-time parent, they would not want to hear what I'm telling them. They're like, I know you are stopping me from being the best dad and the best husband and the best wife. But by the time second-born is checking in, you're like,
it hits you.
We shall live and not die.
Yes. And then the basics is enough anyway. I get you.
And of course, if you can, like, I mean, if you're able to give, if you have
by all means you should.
I mean, feel free, spoil the first one, spoil the first one, even the second and the third, even the fourth. But just that wisdom of knowing, you don't have to overstretch yourself. It's not like you're saving a life. Like just as Torah said, they're not going to die. Like our third born was born just at the end of 2019, and it was like a very a lot of transitions happening in our family, in our life at that point. And I mean, he's strong, healthy, and I mean,
and
so
then they grow, right?
They grow,
It's like sometimes I'm driving through town, and you see a child even running hook or two on the streets, and they're fine. You know, like they're healthy. They even look. Their smile is probably bigger than you find in the child in the big house. So I guess God really takes care of these babies. And I know we need to discuss diaper change, and your stories are so interesting. And I think we're even running out of time. But I'm just curious, before we start talking about diaper change, did you guys go through wives having cravings? You know, I remember once waking my husband up at night and telling him I want fries from the campus I went to. You know, so he had to drive to UN and get me, you know, fries from there. Did you guys go? And when the fries came, you know, you're there. I ate two. The craving was gone, and he's like, "You're going to finish all those fries," because I think he bought like 3 packets. I'm like, "By then I'm done. I can't even stand to look at them." Did you guys go through that? Because I think it's a big deal, and sometimes it can wear out the husband. Are cravings real according to you? Ama, you think chicks are just doing Hollywood, Bollywood, or is it Nollywood? It's more Nollywood.
It's almost like we think maybe they learn it at the baby shower. It's a brief they share, like, now where Penda pineapple.
I know, right?
And very specific, like your Thika Road.
Specifically.
You're living in Limuru, Kakuzi.
I know.
Yeah.
Did you guys go through that? And how did you handle it? Is it frustrating for a man? You know, because for the woman, you're just sitting there waiting for that Fanta from Steers kind of thing.
Wow.
You know? How was it for you guys?
Like I said, for us, I think it was a breeze. But the one thing that was crazy about Anima, she'd want Fanta, you know, Fanta orange, but the glass bottle. Don't bring the pepper. Don't bring the plastic bottle.
Oh my gosh.
That's what she wanted. I wouldn't call it a craving, but that's what she wanted. You know? I remember one time Eliana was growing up. And then she came, we were in church, and she came, I was serving, so I was not inside the service. So she came and told me, hey, Toro, let's go, you buy for me a Fanta. So we go outside there, buy a Fanta, and then she's like, no, I want the glass one. I'm like,
where you get
is it
glass?
time? As in, are we pregnant? So for us, it was a breeze. Other than the Fantas in a glass bottle.
In a glass? Okay. Did you go through that?
Not very intense, yeah. So, but I remember she loved some shawarma in town.
Wow.
Yeah, so she'd luckily it was easy for her to get to town. So I think every once in a while, like, she was like, okay, let me just go get my fix, and then I'll be back.
Yeah.
But nothing very strange. I remember there was also a bit of pineapples.
Yeah.
But they were not.
From
No, they were not. They were just getting pineapple. I need pineapple now. Yeah.
There's something about pregnancies and pineapples, man.
Yeah.
I think I know like so many women who go through a pineapple phase in their pregnancy. And the ones maybe from the street as they watch the guy cut. That's the one they want, you know?
I remembered one time, I think this one kicked in, like really kicked in.
Yeah.
We were coming from church, and for some reason, when she wanted chicken, it had to be from Sanford, in town.
Wow.
So this time I'm driving in town, I'm telling her there's a bit of traffic, so she's like, you know what, stop the car. So we're in traffic, I slow down, and she's like, I've gone. She opens the door
and goes
to buy. And now I'm like, how do I even get you back? How will I know you're done buying the chicken? I think that was the most hilarious for me.
And I think sometimes the pregnancy hunger and, you know, just everything that comes with it can be, you know, like it's that thing you want it now just, you know, you know, but I think it should be enjoyable. Yeah. You know, those 9 months should be 9/10 months should be enjoyable. We should, you know, endeavor to just make it a beautiful season. Yeah. Because I think so many times we get consumed with the finances and things like that, and we don't focus on just enjoying the kicks and, you know, just every beauty that comes with it, because it's also a short time. And as we close, I'm just curious, the baby is here. How is it for a father when you hear the baby crying, if you're present at that time? How is it, you know, because so many times you hear about the mother's story, and like you said, the baby showers, you know, that's what women talk about. I don't think there are showers where men come to say, when I heard the baby crying, you know. So let's imagine, you know,
I woke up my wife.
I know, kind of thing. You know, so the first time you hear the baby crying, the changing of diapers, how is that for you? Do you change diapers? Let me not assume you do. Do you feel like it's not manly enough when you're buying the diaper bag? Are you like, make sure it's blue or gray or, you know, the manly colors? If you buy a pink one, you're the only one who's going to carry it, you know. So how is it now fathering this child, you know, and how have you handled that? Because I think a lot of the modern men have struggled with that, you know. You know, they're like, you know, I'll provide, but please don't ask me to change diapers. Don't ask me to wake up at night, you know. But how has it been for you and your wife?
Yeah, so I believe this journey, I mean, it's so sacred to begin with, like just the gift of being a father.
Yes.
It's a gift, And the process, if you look, even if we go back to the Bible and you see how the dads were involved, God involved the dads before even conception. In the case of Abraham, the promise comes to Abraham, not to Sarah. You look at Zacharias and Elizabeth, when John the Baptist is being conceived, the word comes to. So God wants, it's designed for us to be very much a part of the process, not just later on in life, but from the very beginning. Yeah, so for me, it's just a matter of understanding that you have a role to play. You have a part of supporting your wife. And not just supporting your wife, you're very much a part of this. Like, it's not like you can separate and say, kuna mtoto inside, like it's you're very much inside that, and you're also very responsible for it. If you think about it, like so hawezi jitoa, and just owning that process and giving it your best. So with that understanding, for me, it hasn't never been an issue to take care of the baby, change diapers, and I think also the culture, the people, because the church I go to, like just having models before me. I've seen this guy, I used to see him before, and I'm like, as in that guy does it, I'm like, they carry the diaper bags, and it became almost easy for me. It became almost natural, because I've seen it being done. So I think the culture, the people you surround yourself with also, and the modeling, and so we also have a responsibility. Maybe we've done our part now. Your hubby will do his part to encourage the younger guys and just show them that, I mean, you can be hands-on. Change the diapers, do what needs to be done.
No, I like that. So you've changed diapers.
I changed diapers. I've changed diapers so much.
You've woken up at night to help a child sleep. You know, the 3 a.m. midnight dances with the baby, you know, and they refuse to.
Because like for the midnight, how do you call it? The meals, the feeds. That was mine. Like for the longest time, because my wife would do. Our baby would sleep. We put them on a schedule. So I think by 7 they take the shower and then take the last breastfeed, and then they go to sleep. By 10 they wake up. I mean, when the baby would wake up, my wife would prepare the milk, and I'll just get up. Do the bottle feeding, and unless imeshindikana, there is that, because now let's take it to the
the expert.
Second opinion. We go for the second opinion. But
when the baby has refused to sleep, I get you.
And it's also a very small window, because they grow so fast. You're like, if you don't get to do it now, you'll never get to do it. You won't have opportunity of telling your son, by the way, I used to change your diaper. Kuja hapa, like, you're like,
it's so true. I like that. Thank you for sharing.
For Anima and I, we made sure that we were very intentional on enjoying every season of life. Because you see, when the child is small, I would hold the child and cook, I would hold the child and do something else. Then you can't wait for them to walk. Then when they start walking, you start telling them, can you sit down? You know? So we decided we're going to enjoy every process. For me, diapers were like down there, like this is kawaida, everyone should be doing this. What I remember is being very jealous, because I read a lot, so that I become the A-class dad, you know. And one of the articles I read was, when the baby is breastfeeding, they're actually bonding with the mother. So I remember being so jealous, like, so how am I supposed to bond with this child, you know? I'm among the lucky ones. When my children are being born, like I mentioned, it had to be CS, so I was actually allowed to go to the theater.
Oh, wow.
I remember the doc, this is just by the way, the doc, the pediatrician, when the baby came out, the pediatrician was like, so the mom is going to look and see if it's a boy or a girl. So when I turned to look, she told me, Boo, look there, there's a your work was one day. She's been here for 9 months, you know. But I remember when we left the theater, the nurse was going to wash the baby. So I told the nurse, please show me how to wash the baby. So I was inside there in the nursery, and they were doing it in like a sink-like thing. And she showed me, and from that day I made a vow. I am the one who will be washing the children, and that is how I will be bonding with them. So from a very young age, for us, bath time was playtime. It was bonding time with Dad. I would close the window. Our place was a bit cold, so we'd warm the room, close the doors, and we'd have so much fun with the kids. So much fun. So for me, that was my way of bonding with them. But anything else, I normally say to them, I'm the toy that doesn't run on batteries. In their mind, that you've come from work, okay, yes, now let's play. And I think what is fundamental is to know, as a father, if you've given 100% at work, come home and give 100% to your family.
That's true.
It is very important. If it means changing those diapers, change them. If it means feeding those kids, feed them. Okay, it comes easy for me. I love kids. So feeding them was not an issue. like for me, changing diapers was like, what do you mean you don't change diapers? Like those are the ones who are supposed to be the special ones. You don't change diapers?
Diapers, yeah.
How? You don't feed? You know, but for me, I decided from a very young age, I will be so intentional. In fact, now we fight because I made shower time fun. Nowadays it takes so long in the bathroom. You know, guys need to come.
But then they already got used to that.
They already got used to it.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's
But
good.
I think it is something that in their memory, probably when they were kids, they didn't know that it was me playing with them all along.
Yeah.
The other thing I would like to encourage people, especially the men, when you get home, especially when the kids are very young, the wife has had these kids all this time. The wife has had your son or your daughter all this time. I made it a policy that when I get home, I would go change because we were being told you're dusty and also I would go change and take the child and let Anima have her own time. You have time. Whatever you need to do, do. You want to go sleep? Sleep. You want to go... If the siren goes up and I can't switch off the siren by all the bembelezing and then I'll wake you up. But you go sleep. You want coffee? Have coffee. You want tea? Go watch a movie. Do it. But I'll have the child for this season. Just to allow you to recuperate.
Wow. We've come to the end of the show, but I just feel in my heart that we need to encourage a dad out there.
All right.
And so what I'm going to ask you, and you'll do this in like 30 seconds, is to speak to that dad with what has been the hardest season for you as a father. You know, so imagine you're speaking to yourself at your hardest season. What would you tell that dad? And I know that's hard to do in 30 seconds, but you know, because in my heart, I just feel like if there are people who go through a tough season, and especially in this day and age, it's dads, men, you know, because you have these children looking up to you, a wife, etc. And, you know, there's inflation, there's COVID, there's, you know, redundancy of jobs. There's just all these things happening. So think about your hardest season as a father and speak to Toro and speak to Jimo in that season. What would you tell yourself to encourage yourself in that season, even as we close?
I know you might be feeling inadequate, like you're not very sure you want to do the best you can, but you feel like you're falling short. But give yourself a pat on the back, like you are doing your best. And none of us ever figures it out completely. We keep learning with the second, the third, and even as they grow, we keep improving. Give yourself a pat on the back. Give yourself some accolades. You're not there yet, but you're doing something and you're doing great.
Wow. I love that. Thank you.
I think for me, it would be the society expects us to be providers. And most of the time when you hear daddy struggling, they'll struggle with that aspect of being a provider. And I learned at a very young age, and at a very, like I had like one or two people who had gone before me. So no one poured all this into me. But I discovered the world right now equates provision with financial stability. But your children need somebody to provide happiness for them. Like until today, we play games with my kids that naturally you would think at that, like, you're a dean, what are you doing on the floor? You know? But what I want to tell them is, you're responsible for providing, not just on the monetary side. Provide happiness, provide joy, provide laughter, provide a shoulder to lean on, you know? Be there, listen to your daughter. Like my daughter once came and told me she had gotten a letter from a boy and she thinks because his light skin, I was like, which boy? Like, oh yes, hey, what did he say? Provide that security, that hug they need. Provide that affirmation. Just concentrate on being the best provider for your family. Some of these things are not monetary. I don't need to invest anything to make you laugh. I don't need to invest anything to sit down with you and make a model using mud. I don't. So just concentrate on being the best provider for your family.
Wow. Wow, that's so deep. I don't think I even need to add anything else. I think I'll just take this moment to even just honor the dads, you know. I honor my own father. I think he was very present and, you know, did quite a number of things for us. I wouldn't get into it, you know, but just provided more than just the monetary, like you're saying. He was very present for us. And I also want to honor my own husband, the father of my children as well. Such a fantastic dad. I honor this man here in the room today, and any other man in your life. Please take a moment, send a text, call when your husband comes home. Just honor them, because the world out there is tough. Let's honor these men. Let's encourage them. Let's involve them in the pregnancy, in the conceiving, and even when the baby is there to when they leave your home. Let's just start a whole new culture where we honor men and we honor fathers in this society. This has been the motherhood, you know, and pregnancy season that is so exciting, so deep. Keep it here, keep it locked, and thank you for listening. Reach out to us, tell us what you've learned, tell us a story about your father, or even what you're going through currently with your pregnancy, and we'll get back to you. God bless you, and thank you so much.